Okay, welcome to the third video of our online teaching. Before this, we have seen two theorems. Okay, now in first chapter, I have taken one theorem only, 10.2. Now I'd like to go for the second chapter, that is polynomial, and we are discussing about the polynomial. This polynomial, well, we are getting disturbance. All right. Uh, we know the types of polynomials, starting with the linear polynomial. This is the linear polynomial. And the standard form of linear polynomial is ax plus b. This is the standard form. Second is quadratic polynomial. Quadratic polynomial, and its standard form is ax square plus bx plus c. And third is cubic polynomial, and its standard form is ax cube plus bx square plus cx plus d equal to 0. And one more is there, that is biquadratic polynomial. I can write it biquadratic polynomial. Okay, biquadratic, where you will find that the highest power is 2, ax to the power 4 plus bx cube plus cx square plus dx and plus e equal to 0. Alright, so these are all the types of polynomials that we already have seen. Starting with the linear polynomial, the standard form is ax plus b. Quadratic means highest power is 2, so standard form is ax square plus bx plus c. And the cubic polynomial, the standard form is ax cube plus bx square plus cx plus d equal to 0, and it is equal to 0. Okay, and biquadratic is the highest power is 4, so you can go it on in decreasing the highest power of x, that is ax to the power 4 plus bx cube plus cx square plus dx plus e equal to 0. Alright, so we also have seen how to draw the graph of linear polynomial, quadratic polynomial, cubic polynomial and biquadratic polynomial. Let me draw the graph also, what type of the graph this polynomials is having. Okay, so as we know that if you draw the graph of the linear polynomial, you will come to know that the graph is a straight line, either passing through origin or may not passing through origin. Alright, this is suppose x-axis and this is your y-axis. So definitely your graph is going to touch the x-axis at least one time. So this is the standard form ax plus b equal to 0, and there is only one solution, x equal to minus b by a. Okay, the value of this is the value of x, and the graph of the linear polynomial is going to be a straight line always. Remember, now when there is a quadratic polynomial, uh, this is our x-axis and y-axis. I'm drawing again x-axis and this is your y-axis. Well, then your graph is going to like this, either open upward or open downward, or here also, or sometimes here also. There are four graphs that I have drawn. One, this is 2, this is 3, and this is 4. What does these figures indicate? This indicate that sometimes your quadratic equation, this is the standard form that I'm going to write, ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0. Either this quadratic equation has two zeros, here also two zeros, or no zeros. This is not touching. And one more thing I forgot to tell you, that the number of times the graph is touching the x-axis, that many times the zeros are there. Suppose this is maximally touching two times, right? This graph is touching the x-axis two times. So this quadratic equation has at most two zeros. And sometimes it is not touching, or sometimes what happens, it will touch a single point. It means that both the zeros are the same. There are two equal zeros, they are touching at only one point. All right, So it means that there are still two zeros, but they are coinciding. They are same zeros. So I can say that the quadratic equation has at most two zeros. Either both are equal, or both are distinct, or both are zeros, or there is no zeros at all. Okay, this happens. So this is also called as parabola. This structure, the graph is like parabola, and this is open upward parabola and open downward parabola. So whenever the quadratic equation comes, we must note that this quadratic equation has at most two zeros. The meaning of at most is that uh, there may be less than two also, either no zero, that is zero, and one zero also, that is common zero. Okay, so we have seen everything about the quadratic equation. Now let's go for the cubic polynomial. The cubic polynomial. So definitely again, as per the name of the cubic polynomial, the graph is touching the x-axis three times. Again, I am going to draw the figure, the x-axis and y-axis. This is your x-axis and this is y-axis. Remember, this figure is going to touch the x-axis three times. 1, 2 and 3. So cubic polynomial ax cube plus bx square plus cx plus d equal to 0. This cubic polynomial has at most three zeros. Okay, at most three zero means there may be less than also. And the same thing you can see in case of biquadratic polynomial. Definitely the graph is going to touch the x-axis four times, like this also it will come down. So whenever biquadratic polynomial is there, you can say that there are at most four zeros. Now we have seen the what type of zero the quadratic equation has, linear polynomial has, and a cubic and biquadratic polynomial has. Now one more thing that we are going to see the next part of this chapter is the relationship between zeros and coefficients. Relationship between zeros and coefficient. Okay, so if I take one by one, I will take this is the linear polynomial ax plus b equal to 0, and this linear polynomial has only one zero, that is x equal to minus b by. Whereas if I take second, that is quadratic equation, a quadratic polynomial ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0. So if you take, suppose there are two zeros alpha and beta. If alpha and beta are two zeros, then the relation is developed alpha plus beta equal to minus b by a, and alpha into beta is equal to c by a. This is what we are going to see later on. Okay, just now I'm just telling you what are the relationship between zeros and coefficient. And in case of cubic polynomial, ax cube plus bx square plus cx plus d equal to 0. Here also, if there is alpha, beta and gamma are three zeros. Okay, then the relationship is like this: alpha plus beta plus gamma equal to again minus b by a, and alpha beta plus beta gamma plus alpha gamma is equal to c by a, and alpha into beta into gamma is equal to minus d by a. We are going to prove these things also. The relationship we are going to prove, but for the time saving purpose, I am telling you directly that this is the linear polynomial and there is only one zero, and this is written in the form of minus b by a. Whereas the quadratic polynomial, if you take two zeros, if alpha and beta are two zeros, then the relationship of their addition and multiplication is like this, that is alpha plus beta equal to minus b by a, and alpha into beta is equal to c by a. Alright, in the case of cubic polynomial, if you take alpha, beta and gamma are three zeros, then alpha plus gamma equal to minus b by a, and alpha beta, beta gamma plus alpha gamma equal to c by a, and lastly is alpha into beta into gamma equal to minus d by a. Whereas you will notice one thing, that the first ratio, that is this relation, always minus b by is there, here also minus b by a, here also minus b by a. So there is similarity in second also. Alright, so we are going to now develop how this relations has come. Okay, So we'll consider the quadratic polynomial now, and deliver the we'll find out the relations, how the relation has come. Let us write down ax square plus bx plus c. This is the standard form equal to 0. All right. And we know that whenever by factor theorem, when a quadratic polynomial is given, that then alpha and beta are two zeros, and then x minus alpha and x minus beta, these are the factors of this polynomial. By factor theorem, we know these things. Whenever alpha and beta are two zeros, then x minus alpha and x minus beta are the factors of this polynomial. So I'll write it like this: ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0, and all this is equal to k. Some constant is always there, x minus alpha and into x minus beta. These are the factors of this polynomial. Okay, where k is some constant, it can be anything. Well, now we have to develop the relation. First, I will keep the k as it is, and I will multiply these two. So I'll get x into this total bracket minus alpha, and again this total bracket. Okay, so k, just multiply these two, will get x square minus x beta minus x alpha, and minus minus become plus alpha beta. Okay, is equal to, again now multiplying by k throughout, you will get kx square minus k now what is common here? Minus x can be taken outside. Inside you will get alpha plus beta and k. Now I have multiplied by k, and here also k alpha beta. Now I came to the last, no need of bracket. Now I'll compare it with the standard form. Look at the coefficient of x square here. The coefficient of x square here is k, and here is, so a is equal to k I got. Correct? And what is the coefficient of x here? If I replace this k, if I write like this here, if I write x, then no problem. This is the coefficient of x. What is the coefficient of x then there? And what is that? So b equal to minus k bracket alpha plus beta. All right. Now here I can get the value of alpha plus beta. Look here, alpha plus beta equal to, this is going to be minus b by k. And what is the value of k here? That is e. So it is minus b by a. And third one, if you compare, this is the constant. So c equal to k alpha beta. Again alpha into beta is equal to c by k, and again putting the value of k as a. So I got this one. Here also this one. Similarly, you can follow and find out the coefficient, zeros and coefficients of the cubic polynomial. This is what the we have seen in case of quadratic polynomial. So the same thing you can apply and find out the relationship between zeros and coefficients of cubic polynomial, and not in cubic polynomial, in biquadratic polynomial also. And you have done this one in earlier classes also. Okay. Now further, after this I would like to show you the division algorithm. What is division algorithm? This is the relationship between zeros and coefficient, division algorithm for polynomial. Division algorithm for polynomial. Now, starting with the simple example, if I write 12, and this 12 can be written as 4 into 3 plus 0. If I write 13, then again 4 into 3 plus 1. So this is what the division algorithm in fact. But this is for the numbers, and I have to apply it for the polynomial also. And then if I take any polynomial p of x, then it is divided by any polynomial g of x. Then the quotient will be q of x, and then r of x will be the remainder. You can compare it with this, and it will come to know that. This is the original polynomial p of x, polynomial in x. Okay, and g of x is the another polynomial where we are dividing it, and this is the quotient, and this is the remainder. Well, this is called as division algorithm for polynomial, and this division process we already have seen in 8th class, in 9th class too. So I will take one example of division of algorithm by another polynomial. Then how to do it, let us see. The example is divide. I'm taking the example which is in the book. 2x square plus 3x and plus 1 by x plus 2. All right. Just I'm going to show the steps only, because these things you know how to do it, and this is what we are going to divide. So I will just remove it. Now, what are the steps that I have, and you also know those steps. We have to always consider the first term of the dividend. This is called dividend, and the first term of the divisor. And I will write down them here. 2x square and divided by the first term of the divisor, that is x. So carry out the division, you will get this is 2x. Okay, by cancelling out the xx. And then you have to write down the first term of the quotient is 2x. Just multiply these two, 2x square, and multiply these two, you will get 4x. Okay. Then by subtracting, here is minus, here is also minus, then you will get this becomes cancelled, and you will get plus 3x minus 4x, that is minus x, and plus 1. Okay, look at the degree of the coefficient, and here also the degree is same. Unless and until this degree is less than this degree, we have to keep on doing the division. Okay, again minus x divided by x, this is going to be minus 1. So I have to multiply by minus 1, I'll get minus x minus 2, and this becomes plus, this becomes plus, this get cancelled, and here is plus 3. So I got the remainder as a plus 3. This is my quotient, and this is my divisor, this is dividend, and this is your remainder. Okay, so in this way you have to find out the division algorithm. From this such example, you can find out whether the given polynomial which is dividing, if it gives the remainder 0, then this polynomial will be the factor of the dividend. All right. So there are so many examples like this, and in further video I will tell you how to solve the exercise of 2.3 of the same chapter. Okay. Thank you.